Today we're going to talk about some breakout questions, the recruiting process, identifying your potential employees, planning, advertising, keeping it legal. We're going to do that twice. What the interview looks like, and hiring, and the first day, because the first day is actually part of your hiring process. So we are going to just kind of touch base. What task do you love and will never give up about the job you're doing? Now, most of you here are business owners or presidents of your organization. You have 1,000 hats, but out of all of them, what is your most favorite thing? You don't ever want to give it up, because that is the core of what you love doing. Let's start.
Building a team.
Building a team. That's
Networking.
networking.
Yeah.
Very cool. Networking. Awesome. Okay.
I mean, it's the client relationships. Sure.
Customer service.
Okay. All right, great. I love that. So those are things that we're going to be talking today, you don't really want to hire someone to do that, because it's a thing to do. And as the business owner, you don't have to give that up. What's one thing, if you never saw it again, and you would be the best thing ever?
Taxes.
Taxes.
Yeah, payroll taxes.
Payroll, taxes.
QuickBooks.
QuickBooks. Okay.
Facebook marketing.
Facebook marketing.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, social media.
Despise it.
Oh, I love social.
I hate social. I don't even have a website.
Ah, no, we're not.
Yeah, I don't want to do my website. I don't want to do Facebook.
Just
Type anything insurance, you'll find me something.
So that'll keep those in mind. The things that kind of make you twitch when you think about having to do it, might be some things that you want to hire out for. And then when you're finding an employee, if you're thinking about your perfect employee, what's the one quality that is most important that they bring to you?
Dependability.
Dependability.
Yes.
Customer focus and skills.
Customer focus and skills.
Telephone voice. Good someone.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, most of the time, I'm talking to people on the phone.
Yeah. Honesty, yeah, reliability.
Dependability and then knowledge about the job.
Knowledge about the job, right? Yeah, of course, and we're gonna talk about a little bit of that too. So I want you to think about your past employers. I mean, we've all been employed by another organization, even if we were younger. What was the best quality of that employer? What was the favorite thing? First thing, like, best job I ever had was because
They're loyal.
loyal.
Mhm.
They were loyal to you.
Mhm.
Okay. What else?
It was good work culture.
Work
Mm.
culture is.
Agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like it's fun going to work,
Okay.
even though it's still work, it still makes it,
Yeah.
there's certain things.
Yeah.
And also like a boss that's like literally able to do everything.
Yeah.
And, cause there's plenty of managers and bosses that, well, I don't know. That I've seen in my past, at least.
Yeah.
Well, they're willing to step in and help.
They're like, no,
And I would say one that's more solution driven, like if they don't know,
Yeah,
they will figure it out or connect to someone that can figure it out, or can help you along the
Yeah.
way. Not leave it on you to figure it out, like it's your job, you should know how to do this or something like that.
You're like, you're the boss. You know how to do it. Teach me how to do it. Sure. What about the worst employer you've ever had? You couldn't wait to get out fast enough. What's the worst thing they ever did to you as an employer?
Just bad management. But when I specifically mean bringing personal stuff to work.
Great.
yeah.
Fully agree.
Anything else?
No, I mean, that's kind of it. Anytime I left a job, it was always usually management based.
Now, my passes, before I got insurance, I was just in the food industry. So like,
Everything.
yeah, so it was like, having cliquey environment, having bad culture and like the restaurant and stuff like that, it's not good for productivity.
It's not. And what you're telling me is what is generally the same consensus, no matter what the audience is. When you think about hiring employees, when you think about having someone reporting to you and you're managing them, whether it be their schedule, their tasks, their training, think about those, keep those in mind. Don't hire someone to do something you love. That takes the fun out of being a business owner. Don't hire someone who doesn't know how to do the job unless you are willing to teach them. Don't hire someone if you have a really, you're not happy about the culture. You know, or if you don't have employees yet, which some of you have said you don't, create a culture before the employee exists. Set yourself expectations before your employees exist. So whatever's important to you, make sure you have that already and write it down. Because our brains are not computers, we're not meant to keep things in our head for long. So hence why I forget everything, but write it down, keep a book. This is what I want to make sure and stick with it. Put it on, stick it to a bulletin board or something that this is what I'm gonna do for my employees. So there is a recruiting process and of course, many people are aware of the process because they've all applied to jobs before, but as an employer, there's some hidden ones too. So first you want to identify, where the areas are for opportunity. You don't want to hire someone just to say you have an employee. You actually have to have a need where you can, be able to give someone else some of your work. Even if it's not you like doing it, but it would be really take off a lot off your plate. That might be something to consider too. But how can you operate more efficiently? How can, what's most important to you? Time. Time is usually the biggest one for small business owners. Make sure that whatever you're doing, if time is your biggest block, make sure you're hiring for someone who's going to buy you time. Essentially, you're going to purchase this person for your time back. What is that? And don't be afraid to hire someone to do something you don't know how to do. Like that is the best, right? Like you're spending time learning it, you're spending time trying it. Just hire someone. There's sometimes your time is so much more valuable and just hiring someone to do what you don't know how to do. So planning is key. You got to plan for everything. We all know this as small business owners. Determine what this new role is and what the qualifications are going to be. What do they have to know how to do? If you're in retail, they have to know how to handle money, right? Don't ask for someone who has a master's degree, pay $12 and ask them to bag groceries. Like they're going to tell you to take a walk. So make sure that your qualifications and anything that you expect out of your employee actually align with what you're going to want them to do. So if you need a higher qualified individual for a specific task, or you want them to have a specific license or accreditation or something like that, then you'll have to expect to pay for it. Okay. You just want someone out of high school just to do their thing. You still have to train them. You still might have to teach them how to use cash, but expect that will be your, entry level $12 an hour person. Advertising, always plan for the expense of advertising. And the more times you hire, and this is a common theme in human resources, it costs more to hire someone multiple times than to invest in someone to build who they are as an employee. So you want to make sure your turnaround that you're hiring the right person because advertising can get very, very pricey unless you have a niche place to go. Because there's a specific, specialty that they have. But before you advertise, before you even think about advertising, you want to make sure you have a really solid job description. The great thing about AI these days, drop it in AI, read through it. Now, this would be great, and edit it to the way you want it to be. I love AI, it makes life so much easier. Post in areas that will attract the type of person you want. So, if you're looking for, I don't know, if you're looking for a photographer, you don't want to go ahead and advertise in food industry magazines or, craft beer magazines. You want to focus probably in some sort of art magazine or associations or, those sort of things. Be smart about where you're paying for advertising. And of course, you always have places like Indeed that will kind of source all where you post it and bring it to one.
What are some of the advertising avenues that you think work outside of Indeed?
Outside of Indeed, LinkedIn works if you want a specialty. So if you want a business savvy, someone who is,
Or just has self.
yeah, that would be, that would definitely be a place that I would first go to, LinkedIn.
Then you would.
Your
go
local
like,
chamber.
Job opening type program, or would you just kind of like?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
If you kind of just start searching on your own, or you go through their job opening type program that they have to make that.
To post them
Okay.
or to go through them? What do you mean? To find a job or?
Fine.
Yeah, so LinkedIn has a great platform where they can help make suggestions. And then, cause in LinkedIn, you can pick and choose who gets to see your profile. So there's a way you can source to look like open for work. There's like a little banner on their picture and everything that says they're open to work. And those people will usually pop up first if they match the same description or have similar qualities that you're looking for in their description as, just in their LinkedIn.
Gotcha.
And some do require, most actually require that you employers will post a job description and the employee, posts the resume.
Yeah.
So, and then they have all kinds of algorithms that can kind of match that. I don't know if you've ever gotten like messages and your like private messages for LinkedIn and hey, we have a great opportunity for you, like, no, delete.
Yeah, so on mine, I have the mom to mom page on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
and it says, hi Kirsten, are you hiring?
Exactly.
I'm gonna bring this up. And you can just click yes and then fill it over stuff.
And then at the top too, there are jobs, and that's where you would post if you want to hire. And that, again, that's for something more specific that is more industry specific and the type of person who would be on LinkedIn, not your standard, high school student. Interviewing, it can get really tricky. So you have to save the notes of the employee. If you hire for that employee, you have to hold on to the notes of all the interviews you did for a year. Determine before you even advertise whether you want to do, how many phases you want to do an interview. I've been to, jobs personally where one interview, I've got the job. I've been to one that I had to go through 5 interviews and a sample like work day. So it really depends on where you're at. Of course, if you're creating a C-suite level like job for, the chief human resources officer, then you want a 5-step, and a workday example type of interview. But if you're looking for, a high school person to work on the weekends, 1, maybe 2. It really is gonna depend on what you need and what you want out of that. And then just making sure you narrow down your candidates. Have justifiable reasons why you're eliminating someone or keeping them. Because if it ever comes back and they are in a protected category, they can come back and be like, well, you didn't hire me because I'm a woman. Well, no, you didn't have XYZ and Mr. Smith had XYZ. So you want to make sure that you're really keeping track. Do not write anything. And I cannot stress this enough on any of your notes. When you are taking notes during an interview, do not put any personal identifiable information like, has a giant booger hanging out of their nose. Like, you don't want to put that. You don't want to put smells really bad. You don't anything that would, with that.
What about dressing?
Dressed inappropriately is appropriate to put, like, just so you can make a note, or wore flip flops, whatever, unless you're a lifeguard, but if it's something like that, you're okay, but nothing that someone could turn around and be like, you judged me on that, it could be a disability, it could be an illness, it could be something so out of the scope, so
So you,
dressing appropriately though,
so you said keep interview notes for a year, is that?
a year after you hire, yeah.
That's me.
Yep.
Okay.
So a year after that person starts. And if that person quits the week later and you have to do that whole process over, then you have to save those and because you're still hiring for the same position.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yes. And you have to pay every single time to advertise and all that kind of stuff. It's very time consuming.
Now, do you have to go through that process Or would it be beneficial for you to go through that process if you're hiring like a family member?
You don't have to go through the process, but
Okay.
make sure you're paying them.
Yeah.
Don't even bother with the process for family members, like, it's just, unless you want to just, hey, I wanna practice like this. Or if, you know, you have two family members, you can only hire one and you plan on paying them. You know, maybe do like a family dual type of fun activity to kind of weed that out.
Sure.
But
At the
no,
end of
if
the day,
you
you're-
have someone.
At the end of the day, the family member still could come back and say you didn't hire me because of this, and then you're liable, so.
Yeah. Small business, not so,
Yeah.
not so bad. The more employees you get, the less likely you wanna do that.
Gotcha.
But for your first hire, if you have someone in mind, you know, your best friend's kid needs a job, you do not need to post that job. That kid can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. But please treat it the same way, like still do an interview, still get them prepared. And then once you find who you want, you've agreed to, you know, gone through, and if you have a team of people hiring, you agree that that's the person you hire them. You wanna present them with a formal letter. Well, first you wanna give them like a verbal offer. Say, hey, we'd like to hire you, this is how much we're gonna charge, this is when we'd like you to start. Is there any, there's always room for negotiation. Maybe not for price, if you can't afford more than $12 an hour, don't do it, or whatever the minimum wage is for wherever you're at. So is it 12.41? I haven't updated myself, but, so whatever that is, if they want to negotiate, they might want to. You might say, you know what, it's not negotiable at this point, let's see, maybe after 3 months or 6 months.
So a good strategy is to do the verbal offer. And kind of
Yeah, cause if they're like, no, I'm
So I've
good.
seen a lot of people where they're just like, we're gonna send you the offer, and then they get it, and they're just like, yeah, that's not even what I want.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I wouldn't have applied if it was under that low.
Yeah, that one, so if you get the offer letter before even talking to the employer about negotiations,
Yeah,
that,
but that seems to be more government type.
Yeah,
roles
that's-
than anything.
because most government, you can't.
And their
negotiate
window is like 35,000 to 85,000, depending on where you fall.
Yeah.
Like,
you automatically start it.
It's gonna be at 35 now.
Yeah, so, and if you ever, you know, get employed by someone, definitely negotiate, please negotiate, most places will negotiate at some point. But yeah, make sure you kind of get a verbal offer, if they're like, yeah, I'm really interested, or let me talk to my significant other and see if this is the way I wanna go. Give them, I like to give them 3 days, 3 business days. What I would do when I was hiring, I would make an offer on Thursday afternoon, they'd have to let me know before noon on Monday. So it gives them the weekend to really think about it. Contact Friday, if you wanna contact the other person you're interviewing for and I'm not your first choice, go ahead. Tell them you were offered something and try to negotiate that. So, because you want your employee to want to be there. If you are their second choice, they're not
You don't really want that.
they're not gonna invest as quickly as if you are their first choice. So, and that's something to consider too. Question? Awesome. Okay, so first thing, identifying. So what's going well in your business? How are you gonna maintain momentum? So, okay, you got your person in, whatever, or you're thinking about getting a person in. What are you gonna do to keep this person motivated? If it's the culture that they really, you think they're gonna be a great fit for this new culture you're developing, how are they going to help that? And you wanna mold that, you wanna keep that energy going for them, so they want to be there, and be prepared for that. And then what their next goal is. So your first goal is to do this is what your next goal is gonna be. That is going to be how you are going to have a successful employee. Alright, and if you identify that before you even start hiring, you are going to be more successful in finding the person you want. So it's just like kind of starting a small business, right? Everybody always tells you, find your niche, find your customer, who you're gonna target, right? Find your employee, figure out who you wanna target, and what's your ideal employee rather than customer. Identify what areas you're struggling in. This will super help you identify your ideal employee. Where are you struggling? Is it a time thing? Is it it's always usually time, but what is it? You know, is it accessing AI to create documents or something? Find someone who knows how to use AI better than you do. Know what you don't know, right? Or you want to know more of, or you just suck at it and you want to have someone else do it for you. That automatic. What is it about your competitors that makes employees want to work there? Why do they like working for them? Could you offer what they offer? What is it about their environment? What is it about? So, and then how you can improve your business by having another. Questions? And interrupt me at any point. So while you're planning, obviously you want to know what responsibilities that they're going to be taking care of, because that's what people are looking for. What are you going to need from me? What's it going to take off your plate? For a lot of people, it's time, but maybe it's something else. Who is your target candidate? I cannot stress this enough. Know who you want to hire. Create like the ideal image of a person who could work for you. What do they like to eat? What do they like to do? What kind of music do they listen to? Are they allowed to listen to music? Is it an office setting? Is it an industrial setting? Like, know everything about what that candidate will and will not like. Are they gonna fit in? Are you going to work well with them? Because the minute he's like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna work with them, you need to stop, like, reassess. Okay, make sure you're asking questions that you will know if they'll fit in. Know when you want them to start. Yesterday is not an option. It takes about 3 to 6 months to fully find and hire and onboard to do it the right way. Research the market. What are others paying for this position? What are their job responsibilities? Because no one's going to take the same job title with more job responsibilities, you know, from company A than company Z, who that's half the responsibilities, same pay. So make sure that you're kind of go on to Indeed, like, hey, put in a sales representative or whatever you want, and see what they're looking for. Know your budget. Yes, you have to budget. It costs money to make money, right? So it's gonna cost you time, it's gonna cost something, but you'll get it back. But know what your budget is and know what your backup plan is. What if you find the perfect candidate and they said, no, you know what, I'm not going to. You're back to square one. What's plan B? While you're redoing this whole process, or you get them in and a week in, you're like, oh, this is not working. This is not working at all. Which you have 90 days with the unemployment office to be able to like kind of back up that you don't have to pay unemployment. And yes, employers pay unemployment, employees do not.
It's 90 business days or is it
90 business days, yeah, because usually they take the first 4 of the last 5 quarters of your employer. So wherever you were for the first 4 of the last 5 quarters, so that gives you the 90-day quarter. It falls right there, so you're least likely to go into ever having to pay unemployment later on down the road if they get unemployed somewhere else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And every claim that is approved by unemployment, I know this because I worked there, once upon a time. Every claim that is made for unemployment, your rates go up. So for every claim that goes up. But usually they're really good about deciding whether or not they were for cause or not. All right, so how to advertise, compare how others are advertising. Make sure you're making as good of a first impression as they are for you, right? Of course, they're interviewing you as much as you are for them, and let them know that. Make them feel comfortable for that. And you can tell your story in your advertisement. Tell about who you are, what you do. Be clear and to the point. What are the job expectations? Please list them very well. Tell us who's qualified, what kind of licenses or requirements are needed, do they need a license, do they, what is, it's basic. What are the perks for working with you? Fun culture, benefits, what kind of benefits, PTO, vacation sick time, whatever it is that you wanna offer. Make it easy to read and keep it legal. Okay? Like you can't put, want 20-year-old young woman, blonde hair to work here.
No.
Can't. All right, so, protecting yourself, keeping it legal, this is a lot, you wanna make sure your job duties are outlined really well, because you always wanna put that last bullet point and other duties as described, or as needed. But it doesn't protect you all the time. Make sure that you have the job responsibilities and the job duties aligned with what your expectations actually are. The verbiage needs to pertain to the job, obviously. And if there's a physical requirement, make sure you identify that, because a lot of people are can't lift up to 20 pounds or can't stand for X amount of time. So make sure if there is a requirement like that, you're including it. Did you have a question?
Yeah, so in the, you just answered one of my questions, but in the position description, when you're, I guess when you're listing out, you want to be, there's some PDs I've seen a lot of PDs over here, they're very broad.
Mhm.
Small business, you want to be specific.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be broad within reason,
Mm-hmm.
but especially if it's your first employee. Because they're gonna know they're the first employee, they're gonna be very weary about going in like, okay, I've never had an employee before, what if I end up doing everything? So this way here, by having it outlined, you're protecting yourself. And
So what,
And what, oh,
I apologize, go ahead.
so when can you, when can those duties, when can those PD duties change without you having to maybe possibly increase salary?
they can't. If you increase responsibilities and respond, like whether it just be a responsibility or tasks, usually it has to come with some sort of increase. Best business practice is to come with an increase. You can make it 50 cents per
Right.
bullet, you can make it 25 cents per bullet, but something. But you don't want to say, oh, by the way, here's another 20 things I want you to do. They are likely gonna just walk out.
So if I give, I'm sorry, it's Colin. So if I give someone a cash drawer and in their PD, it said you're gonna be maintaining a cash drawer of $100 a day,
Mhm.
right? And then that, excuse me, that $100 a day increases to maybe $500 a day. That's not increasing of duties, that's the same duty.
I don't think
that's handling cash.
I'm gonna put $100 a day, because one, now people are like, there's $100 in my cash drawer.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then two, just say you're maintaining the cash drawer.
Yeah.
and
okay,
making-
all right, so don't be that specific.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Be responsible
Yeah.
for cash and credit
Yeah.
transactions.
Yeah.
And I will be your best friend.
Yes.
Yeah, so one, it is a little bit of a broad brush,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you're kind of, because you don't know, like, it could be a really good day.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, it's over $100.
Right, now I need
I need a raise. It's like, okay.
Yeah, no, you don't want to be that.
Okay,
specific.
okay.
It doesn't have to be that broad enough to know that I'm gonna be running credit cards and dealing with a cash drawer. But as far as how much, no,
Okay.
you don't limit yourself like
Gotcha.
that.
I'm sorry, other
When
people
you
say,
say, yeah, when you say cash drawer, people that know what it is, they know that like when they're leaving their shift, they're counting all the money and saying, this is what's in the drawer. Close the drawer and say, now it's up to you. And then hand it on. So it's kind of, people kind of get an idea of what it.
Yeah,
If I have an employee that one of their responsibilities would be to like have a booth at events and stuff, do I need to put like, be able to stand at events for X amount of hours or something like that?
yeah, if you expect them to stand full time without a chair, but if you're providing a chair, no. This is what your expectation will be to attend and interact as expected at an
Yeah,
event.
most of the people that are just sitting in,
Yeah.
yeah,
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 most people are sitting there just working.
yeah, I need you to talk to people.
Yeah, you do, yeah, But,
Well, I did, but you guys kind of answered it because it says it's how broad do you have to be, or can you use filler words, I guess, that says other duties related to.
you can, but you wanna be really specific to if other duties related to what? Like cash drawer transactions or, other duties related to checking out a customer. Includes bagging or packaging or gift
Well,
wrapping.
it could
if
be
you offer
like
gift wrapping.
youth related events, but it could be, like you said, attending an event, but expecting you to interact and to.
You wouldn't do, that's more of something that you set expectations on day
Okay.
one during orientation.
Okay.
Like, when you attend this event, this is my expectation.
Yeah,
Okay.
So,
I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
somebody's pregnant, like, yes, we're gonna bring a chair for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But, for the most part, like, you do wanna be saying hello and interacting with people.
Exactly.
But,
Yeah.
obviously it's case by case, but, gotcha.
Absolutely. Do you have a question? Okay, you're gonna have to help me with this one. The EEO statement, equal employer opportunities. So this, it protects you as an employer. There are all kinds of protected, people in everything. In our new administration, that has changed. Is it still applicable though?
It is.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
I strongly, no matter what administration it is or what side of the fence, this is just protecting you. Put an EEO statement out, and I'll give you some sample verbiage, and you guys can have a copy of this too. And here's an example here. My company name is an equal opportunity employer and does not discriminate on the basis of race, religion, color, national origin, age, sex, gender, disability, or any other characteristic protected by law.
Sexual orientation, I believe, is included in that as well.
Yes, it is. It is. I'm not updated, but it is. And there's actually two more.
I was gonna say, I think.
There's a
couple others.
pregnancy one,
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch. This is your standard. And and you can make that equal opportunity as much as you want, as long as they're not protected. Okay, so any questions about EEO statement? Okay, and there are several other things to add to that
Question,
as well.
if you do offer a benefit, and I don't think this really has anything to do with this, I apologize. Can you not offer it until like a 90-day
Yes.
window or like a 6-month window?
Yeah, you're allowed to set a window.
Okay.
6 months is a little drastic. I wouldn't go more than
I
90
was-
days,
I
but
think 90 days is.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of curious.
yeah, and even that's a great way too of not only doing a benefit, but hey, you're on probation
Yeah,
for 90 days. After 90 days, if you go through, essentially, you're gonna do kind of like a evaluation of them, right?
Yeah.
How they're doing as an employee. If they meet your expectations or exceed them, offer them the ability to get a bonus or a pay raise.
yeah,
So, and then along with that, their benefits or whatever.
yeah. And then it correlates with like, them being able to file for employment and all this other stuff, like you're committed, they're committed, like, let's get this party started.
Yeah.
A little bit more than what it already is.
Yes.
Okay.
Any questions about that? Perfect. All right, so your interview, you wanna make sure you're keeping it super legal. Make sure you're reviewing your applications and resumes. Eliminate the ones that just make you cringe. Vet your candidates, rate them. Come up with some sort of matrix or what's the other word I'm looking for? Like some sort of rubric. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Find a rubric that you really like and how you want to use it. It will help you keep you honest and keep you objective, not subjective. Call back for in-person or virtual interviews. If you really liked them and really want to just kind of narrow it down to 2 or 3 people, it's okay to say, hey, we're gonna do another round of interviews, even though we didn't plan it, but we have 2 really great candidates and we want to have another.
What can I not ask in an interview?
Oh, you misread.
Cause I'm very like,
They
I'm
pregnant.
very my wife is like, I can't believe you just asked that. I'm
Yeah.
just like.
I feel like there needs to be a list of those.
You are.
I'll ask questions, cause I'm just, one, I'm curious, George, and 2, it doesn't seem like a big, if you prefer not to answer those, it doesn't bother me.
No, they don't
They-
answer it because they think that if not answering it, it's gonna penalize them.
Exactly.
So, and plus you don't wanna, again, get into a position where you didn't hire me because I told you I have kids. Or you didn't hire me because I told you
Well,
I
I can't
live.
ask them, like, about their life,
Well,
like,
Well, and I
hey, where are you
think-
coming from? Cause obviously it's not gonna be in your application.
you can,
Was it a long drive for you? How
It'll
bad?
be on there.
how was it?
yeah, there are ways.
Put their address on there. I'll put my address on there.
A lot of people, a lot of
I'll
people
put my
don't do
contact
that anymore.
information.
They don't, is that new?
Yeah, it's a new thing.
Oh,
So, else is just putting pictures of it.
Oh, through all my experience, to be like, you put my PO box, don't put my home address on these things, these
I
websites.
see that.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, I know where you live, that's different, but.
No, but,
When people
You
don't
can't-
put their.
you can't ask,
Okay.
Noted.
you can't ask things that protect them, but there are ways that you can
I
say.
guess for me, I'm just
You
like,
have
how's the
reliable
drive time?
transport- you
Like,
have reliable transportation.
okay,
I see on your resume, you're from Fairfax. Is this commute going to be difficult for you?
yeah,
You know,
Well, and there's that question about like, you don't wanna ask it, but childcare, like. then
That-
start talking
hands off.
about- I know, and I know,
No.
you don't ask
you
it, but
can't.
so I can't ask if they're married.
No.
Any of that stuff?
No, because you're hitting on.
Yeah, but still true, if it's on their resume, if it's on their resume,
But can I ask
you gotta
them?
refer to the resume. The resume will tell you everything. So you could ask questions from that resume. If they put that they're married, yes or no, at the resume, a lot of people don't. But if they put that on their resume, you can refer to the resume. Anything outside of that four corners of that, don't even do it.
But can I ask that in the application that there's?
No, like, go back to what she said, you want it to be like a discuss or conversation, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of a relaxed person, so if it's a conversation,
That's what I do.
yeah,
Like,
it's
if
just.
people hand me questions, we gotta ask these 4 questions, I'm like, let's just talk to this person.
It's
And
really,
that's totally cool.
That's
You
like-
have to just filter.
and so if I'm, so go with me here, if I'm just having a conversation and they become comfortable and they're like.
Change the subject.
Yeah,
If they bring it up, I have to change
If
it.
they bring it up, I don't
Like,
usually
thank you
bring.
for disclosing that information, but we're gonna go ahead and
yes.
step away from that for a little bit and let's go on to the next question.
Like when I took the job at the Sea Center, one of the questions was, one of the things that,
All the time.
one of the things that,
That's cool, what do they do? It's more of like that old school sales like.
It is.
type
so
thing.
that's a sick,
That's natural doing,
that's different.
that's all it is.
Is interviewing.
Hiring, yeah.
No, you're fine. So like one of the things was that the job, in the job description, it listed that we were non-exempt,
Yes.
which means that bad weather, hurricane, snow, whatever it is, we show up for work.
It's for a season.
So that's what, and that's what they said, that's what he's like, is that gonna be an issue? No, it's fine, but, so, that's the way to phrase it, like, is this position,
And I'm kind of like him, where I don't ask for these things, they come to me. And in my head, I don't do anything, I don't ask for them, but I probably need that list of. Don't do this, don't ask this, don't engage with that, don't do that, and the list would be this long.
So, be simple, so.
Sorry.
We're gonna cover some of them, but like perfect example, next bullet point, right?
I'm gonna be like. I don't
Stay
know
in
if we can-
control of the interview. Do not let the interview control you and get all over the place.
we text you for an interview.
Wait, hold up, I'm gonna text Christine. As long as you don't call, I hate the phone. But asking open-ended questions, awesome, right? Open-ended meaning more than yes, no, because then and don't be afraid of silence either. Silence. Be okay with uncomfortable silence because then people will start like, oh, they're waiting for more and they're gonna offer you more information. And that will nail it for you. For a lot of people, be like, oh, that just got ugly, or yeah, this is gonna work. Listen carefully, take notes, do not take any notes that are gonna get you in trouble later on. And again, this is your time to learn if this is the person you wanna work with. Is this person gonna be your right-hand person? Follow up on comments that catch your eye. I use a little system, like if I love the comment they made, I do an exclamation point, because I want to, usually when I regroup with my panel of other people who interviewed, like, I really love this, I really love this. I do a flag, if it's a red flag, that sort of thing. Or if I have another question I want to add, I'll put a question mark. So however you need to, don't drag the interview out. If you are 5 minutes into the interview and they're snapping gum and they're not presenting the way that they would present themselves to your customer, be like, you know what? Thank you for your time. We really appreciate you, looking into us. But your presentation isn't exactly what we're looking for, but thank you anyway. We're gonna end this. Don't be afraid to do that. You are looking for your right person. If they're coming in cut off jeans and that's not an expectation because you have an office setting, and no.
I mean, I've seen my boss, like, he didn't wear a tie, I'm not gonna even know, Tom Miller. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
I've done that. I've cut people, you weren't presentable, your speech is,
Yeah.
you sound like your speech is a little off a little bit, maybe
You
you
don't want to
wanna.
say that either.
Yeah, but no,
Because you don't know if they have a stutter.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
But I
Yeah.
Or had a stroke,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those.
Yeah, if you just start, you're not getting the vibe, you
Yeah.
don't go for the full hour, your time is valuable. But don't drag it out. It usually, a good interview usually takes that.
That's a good interview.
That's a good interview.
So I know I can stretch.
Questions you ask should be relevant to the job. Having children is not relevant to those jobs. Allow time for their questions. Please block at least 15 minutes for questions, because again, they are interviewing you equally
Now,
as you are for them.
as far as like the kids' questions go, right? Like just if play off you for a second, if it's a job where you have to, like my job at C Center, I'm a family support partner. So I have lived experience with children. They have to be my own children. So is that, like, when they asked me about my lived experience, how does that work?
Your experience with children is what I don't.
So I use my lived experience with my own children in
Uh-huh.
the behavioral health system
Okay,
to do my job.
okay.
So they asked about my lived experience, which happened to involve my children.
That was information that you provided to them. That's okay.
Okay.
They ask, are you using your personal children as your example? Then they can't ask that as an employer. But as being an interviewee, if you want to provide that information for your example, you are free to do so.
And is that okay?
If they offer that, but then you don't wanna have, you do not
Oh,
wanna ask questions.
Okay, because that makes sense, because then I wouldn't have got the job, because that's part of the lived
Right.
experience was,
So one of the things too, is there's always ways to reword things. So you have to have daycare for your kid. No, you cannot say that. So our hours are, your hours of expectation to be in the office are blank to blank. Are those hours going to work with your schedule? Ideal question to ask instead of, so do you have childcare for your kids? But please make sure you're allowing time for the questions. Provide a reasonable follow-up window. Again, like I said, I do Thursday to Monday. I offer you something on Thursday. Monday. Let you know Thursday, I wanna know Monday. And don't wait a month to follow up with someone, right? Allow, okay, you've narrowed it down to 3 people, the people you've called. Let them know if you've chosen to go a different direction, like, oh, thank you for applying, we went, with another candidate. Cause you don't wanna leave a bad taste in their mouth, because you're still a potential employer, not for them, obviously, but they might be friends with someone or have a colleague that, oh, you know what? I didn't get the job, but this place would be awesome for you. Let me refer you. But if you're telling them no, they're gonna walk. They're not gonna give your name, your business a good name. Give a tour of the facility during the interview, if you have a facility and if you want to. kind of make it there, show them where their office space would be or where they'd be spending most majority of their time. Let them speak. Again, it's their time to shine. There are gonna be things when they're talking to you that are not gonna be on the resume. It's just natural human conversation, especially in that awkward silence. They applied to work for you. You already have their interest. They applied to you. Let them sell themselves. Prove them that they're the right fit.
And I think that's an important piece because that's when they share all that personal stuff that you want to hear. And you just take notes. Don't ask follow-up questions with it. It's just their time to say,
You gotta be
hey.
careful taking notes too, like you can't
Yes.
write,
Right.
if somebody says, I had a stroke last year, we can't write, I had a stroke, you know, like.
I mean, what information they share is what they share.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
It's really nothing you can do because you just don't want to put yourself in a situation to where you're asking follow-up questions to that.
Or that it can come back. Questions should only be relevant to the job. We kind of covered that already. Avoid asking about someone's personal life. Never ask questions that relates to someone's protected status, and ask about any accommodations that are possibly needed. So, reasonable accommodation is a thing. If, it's a huge thing for me. I do not do well with fluorescent lights. In an office, there are fluorescent lights. Can we just get yellow light instead of blue light? It's like a $30 fix for someone. It's not unreasonable to ask. If it's, I need a special kind of ventilator for the air in the building that I'm in, and you need to redo the whole HVAC unit because of no, sorry, that's not a reasonable accommodation. So we'll get you a little air purifier. That's.
You can bring your-
So, but hold on, when you ask them,
You have to provide
when do you ask it? When is a good point for them to ask?
not until after they're hired.
I go and say, okay.
Yep, you have to wait until after they're
Yeah,
hired.
and you won't know until after they're hired, and then you cannot not hire them.
True story. I worked for a clinical trial healthcare facility as their chief executive HR person. I did all the interviewing myself. And this girl comes, she was a perfect match absolutely from the day I read her resume to her interview, hired her, everything like that. I'm like, great, we're gonna have you come in for drug tests. We'll have you start in 2 weeks. She's like, oh, I'm good, everything's good. Comes in for her drug screen. She's like, hey, I just need to let you know something. I'm like, yeah. She's like, I am 7 months pregnant. Could not tell at all. My heart hit the floor. Now I can't express any sort of what? I can't express any of that. And she went on maternity leave for 12 weeks, like 2 months after she started. She wasn't even done with full training. But if I had known she was pregnant, would I have hired her? I don't
Once they make
know.
it through the door, there's nothing you can do.
No,
Oh.
God, no.
But
I mean, you can.
I
you
would
just-
have never
Oh,
asked
consider it
anyway,
viable.
but, and I like to think that I would have hired her anyway.
Medical thing that we need to be aware of
No,
to
not
accommodate
at
you.
all. I like to pride myself in thinking I would hire her regardless, because she was a perfect match for this job. But when she told me, I was like, oh, why didn't you tell me? Nope, she couldn't tell me. Like,
Yeah.
I-
Cause it's three,
I
it's
don't
3
know.
months that she's not.
yeah,
That's
the
a
new
lot.
hires
that's
not
all.
there.
She wasn't even done with the part training program was 90 days. She wasn't even done. She's on maternity leave. We had to bring her back.
And we
It's supposed to start her from beginning, but she's not gonna remember.
But you guys weren't required to pay her during her leave because back in LA, right?
Our policy did pay for,
Oh.
yeah, it was the coolest job I've ever.
Well, that was nice.
Yeah, we paid 100% salary during, yeah.
Okay, you're.
And you don't have to, so there are actually a lot of, regulations and laws that apply for most businesses like FMLA. That small businesses don't have to.
Yeah.
If it's 49 employees and less, you are exempt for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it's a certain level.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So, I know we're over time, but I just want to go over some things if you want to learn more about them. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, that is like standard HR 101. If you don't know it, learn it. It's everything that protects people from discrimination. And that includes, let's see, Equal Pay Act, making sure that no matter what gender they are, they're getting equal pay throughout your organization. Age discrimination, the I'm sorry, it's gonna hurt some people. The age that you are considered an older worker in the United States is 40 years old. You are considered an older worker at 40. It
I
is,
got 3 years.
yeah.
I got 3 years, people.
So
So wait a minute.
and accordingly.
I can't even draw Medicare.
So-
Like
Social Security, like,
24.
If you have an older worker, they are protected. They
Yeah.
can say, you didn't hire me because I'm 41 years old and I hired a 35-year-old.
It's.
If you have anything on those interview notes and nothing to prove that you hired this person because were better
what
qualified,
if they threw the next door?
you still have to prove why you hired the person you hired.
If you have two
They're-
great candidates,
Yeah,
and you kind of are just like, I'm just gonna flip the coin every time, but
yeah.
Yeah,
what do you put on the notes?
You don't put anything on the notes. You just put.
Tyler was heads, Jessica was tails, it was
You
tails.
have to find one. It can't be a coin flip. Find one, at least one thing. Well, this is what they brought. It could be just they presented themselves professionally, more professionally than the other person.
They shook my hand.
Yeah. Or, they wore flip flops in their. In case you haven't noticed, that's right. Flip flops to an interview. Like,
Yeah.
no. Oh, you're automatically up. So age discrimination, 40 years or older is considered an older worker. Americans with disabilities, and disabilities has now become like the huge hot topic. It covers everything. All right. Massive disabilities, quiet disabilities, all of them protected.
Schedule A in the government is,
Yeah.
man, such, it used to be. just
So what
one
if they-
line
Yeah, it
down
used to be
the-
just like a small little
What if
paragraph.
they
and it's like-
file against you and they were like, it's discriminated against me for ADHD, but we never even talked about ADHD in the whole conversation.
Then
There's
you're
your
gonna
hope.
hope, you're gonna
It's
hope
such a deal.
that works, yeah. Yep, that's why you don't wanna ask. The more you know about an employee, and that's a thing you'll find too, employees,
They do.
once they connect with you, they'll tell you stuff, you're like, oh, why are you telling me this? This is the best place to go. Again, you can have this presentation. The EEOC.gov covers everything that's protected, and it's a lot of stuff. So if you're nervous about it, sometimes hiring an HR expert to do your hiring might actually help you.
So. She's an expert.
Ooh.
So. She's.
Or you could do like a temp to hire type situation too. Hiring and sealing the deal, contact candidates that you're passing on only after the person says, yes, I'm taking the job, has signed the document, your personal action form that says, hey, we're hiring this person. Please let everybody know. It's just really good business practice. It's not personal. It's really you picked the best person for the job. Be ready to make the offer, be ready to negotiate, because people always will. Finalize details, have a formal offer letter to sign. But it says if necessary. I'm telling you, have it in writing. Do everything in writing. It protects you. But again, do the verbal first, so you're not wasting 100,000 pieces of time and emails. And get excited. You just made your first hire. It's very exciting, but you're not done. You have to do onboarding. So one of the biggest complaints I hear from so many employers right now, I can't get good, especially in food industry, I can't get a good server. I can't get a good employee. Why? Did you train them? Well, I showed them how to use the cash register. I told them, showed them how to use the, little handheld thing. No, you might have to actually train, especially if it's an entry level job. You might actually have to train them even on professionalism. How do you want them to answer and respond to emails? How would you like them to greet your employees? Chick-fil-A, never hear them say thank you. My pleasure, right? So they've been trained. You can't just have them walk in and expect to know your processes, your expectations, like this is the time, have it ready, before they come in. Their first week should be planned, plan to go out to lunch with them, get to know them at a level, because that's when they're gonna start telling you more about their personal stuff. And if you have everything planned in advance, they not only will appreciate it, but they'll see that you are a planner, that this is your expectation, this is what's presented to you. Give them a tour, let them know what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, that sort of thing, is if there's a kitchen, like. We don't cook fish because fish stinks, we love eating it, but don't cook it in the microwave. Whatever rules you want. Provide clear instructions, have written procedures and instructions, totally key. Have it written. Well, it's right there in black and white. Sorry. Again, AI is your friend here. And just have your first day, first week, and long-term itinerary. A lot of people know a 30, 60, 90-day plan. In your first 30 days, I want you to accomplish this. In your first 60, 30 to 60 days, and then 30 to 90.
Should we have them sign a written procedure and instructions saying?
Absolutely can.
They,
But you have to stick to it too.
yeah,
But yes, absolutely, you may have them sign it and say, yes, I understand, have had the opportunity to ask, have been trained, whatever, however you want it to say.
And I encourage standard operating procedures. That's expectation.
And do it now, even if you're not planning on hiring for like years from now, get SOPs in line, because right now, AI is super affordable and
Yeah.
AI will do it all for you. And you just need to make the edits.
And you don't like interview lunches,
What?
like a lunch where you just take them out to dinner.
Oh, yeah, you can do an interview lunch,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I'll have paid for food.
The same
Yeah.
rules apply though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rules
you
do
get-
apply, no matter how casual it is, they roll. If it's an interview, it's an interview. So the paperwork you need to have, you have to have your I-9. I-9 is making sure that they're a legal citizen and are eligible to work in the United States. W-4 is just your standard federal tax form that they have to fill out, all their what's the word I'm looking for? The people who are dependents. And Virginia 4, or if it's a different state that you're hiring in, is your state tax form. Direct deposit's the best way to do it. It's so easy. Do direct deposit. Get with a payroll company if you don't want to deal with all the tax stuff. Beneficiary documents, if you offer any sort of life or health insurance, all that stuff. If you are hiring a 1099 contractor, they have to have a W-9, and you have to file taxes for them if it's over $400 that they're going to make in a year. Onboarding confirmations and acknowledgements, again, you can have them sign their job description. You sat with them, went through the whole thing. Do they have to sign an NDA? Non-disclosure agreement means that
Aren't those illegal? Oh, wait, I apologize. I was looking at.
this is first day. Yeah, this is first day stuff. So like if they're working with like high-end clients or there's stuff,
Like
I
HIPAA.
sign, yeah,
Like HIPAA compliance.
yeah. Like if I have to sign an NDA for my job. If I'm working with one of my clients, I can't tell you anything about them.
So I should have my agents sign an NDA because they have access to socials,
Yeah.
phone numbers, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of them will get proprietary information from the businesses that they're working with too.
Nothing we know.
So, non-compete agreements, if you want to have one, that means that you're just not competing, they leave. What's that?
They don't, Biden and pass the law where they're illegal.
They don't hold any weight.
They don't hold any weight before any laws either. They're very difficult to abstain, or uphold.
So
But-
I had to not compete before I started this agency, and then they kind of just told me, they're like, well, if your clients reach out to you and you don't reach out to them.
Yeah,
That's.
they're very expensive to keep intact. People do it as a scare tactic more than anything.
Gotcha.
I don't recommend them personally, but if this is the time you would have them sign it, not before they get hired, because that'll scare them away. But I don't recommend them, but this is the time you do it if you do them.
What was the ETC?
Et cetera.
It's other types
Just
of
another.
lawyers. Yeah. I used to have a boss, small business who gave me a 3-page document that I had to sign and, read through and sign, and it was all his expectations and how he manages. I thought that was so cool. He's like, here's my hot buttons, here's what are gonna, buy you great, kudos from me, and he stuck to it. I was like, all right, man, cool. And I had to sign it. It was in my personnel file, but
Good for him.
there was no question about what his expectations were ever, so.
And that's good, because I used to do that, but I used to supervise like 260 employees.
Yeah.
And when I set my expectations, everyone understood and it ran pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Mhm.